shuffling the cards, and I'm looking for people to come on and just see if you'd like a reading. So I'll be doing 3 card spreads today, just to see if I can connect with people and, you know, have a look at what the universe is trying to send a message to you about. So I believe that the cards kind of transact energy, and they kind of help us to you know, decode that energy. And so the cards come in and they kind of grab that energy, and they kind of like demystify what might be circulating around us. Multi-stream or Facebook, which one's better? Yeah, so we have an interesting week coming up. We have some astrological conjunctions that are really, really rare. They're about to occur. And I think a lot of you know about the Saturn-Uranus conjunction that's coming. It's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of that. Lots of unexpected events. And Saturn is the planet of hard task masking and, you know, making everybody feel like they've got to get the job done. So it's not necessarily a bad planet, as a lot of people frame it like, but it can be about that intensity and that energy. All right, so let's see for myself what the cards might bring today. We did do a different time last week, so I know that it can feel a bit odd seeing a reader come on at different times. We're just trying to find our balance here every Sunday. All right, so shuffle, 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 and I'm going to cut them into 3. So if you want a reading, what I generally suggest is popping in general, or if you have a specific question, popping that in. Generally, the cards will direct you the way that they need to go, and they will show you what's needed. Okay, so this is just a general reading just to get the energy flowing today, and it's got some very central themes in there. So we've got the 8 of Cups, which is all about walking away from emotional entanglements, things that aren't tied very well to you emotionally, things that are painful. It's a very symbolic card. There's a lot going on in the 8 of Cups, and I always find it very interesting when it comes out in a reading, because it always shares information about, you know, the emotions. So water and cups are very intrinsically linked together. So the moon shines above the querent in this card, and 8 cups signifies quite a lot of emotions around a significant event. So it's suggesting walking away from those things that don't serve you. And so for me personally, this has been a bit of a lifelong venture where I have really kept my circle small. I've had to abandon a whole lot of things emotionally. And so that was in the past for me, which is where this card is placed. And I always find it very interesting when you see a placement of cards like that, because you're looking at where it's positioned. Now, walking away from those cups, you can see the querents walking towards mountainous regions, which usually symbolizes things like obstacles and, you know, things that are yet to come that are going to be difficult. But it doesn't mean that that difficulty is going to be not worth it, or, you know, a struggle that isn't worth the pain. So the querent is walking into a different path. It's the road less traveled. It's quite a significant one. Next to that, we have the 9 of Swords. And so the 9 of Swords is kind of what's left after walking away from the emotional difficulties, and it's kind of rehashing things, I guess, from my past at the moment, because I have a lot of astrological transits happening where I've got some significant planetary movement going on. And so I've got Saturn transiting my 8th house in March. So that's going to be very interesting. And that takes me back to the past where, you know, family, death, all of those kind of themes do come up. And in my life, there's been a lot of that separation, that movement away from things. And so that's a really big part of what the reading is sharing for me. And so the 9 of Swords is all about thought. So swords are about thought and energy that way. And you can see that it's a little bit of a darker card. So there's a lot of that heavier energy that comes with that. So after walking away from some of the emotional taxing circumstances and moving into a different direction, there wasn't a lot of anxiety that came with that. So that is kind of still part of my ongoing struggle. What I look at positively, though, is that that is not something that I can't manage. That is not something that the universe has tasked me with that I can't do. And so it has been a very lengthy journey, and it never stops being one when you do make these decisions. So recently I've been having those kind of thoughts around, you know, some of the struggles that I had walking away from family and choosing peace and mental health over closing those doors. But how sad it is that our society puts us in that position where we're tasked to choose between, you know, really difficult situations, relationships, gatherings, things like that, or our mental health and our peace. And so that has meant we have had some hard consequences as well, which means our children who are now growing up, young adults, teens, and they have lived without that experience of a laden table with like cousins and family and aunties and uncles and things like that. They do have some external family, I'm not saying they don't, but it's just been a very different existence than what you would kind of hope for or you would want. And so the next thing that comes through this reading is quite positive, and that is great. How are you? 1111, nice to see you here. Would you like a reading today? If you'd like a reading, pop yes in the comments for me. So 10 of Cups is about the fulfillment that comes. So all of this work, all of this separation, all of this movement away from all of that hard, arduous energy has moved me into a positive framework, and that's really positive. So in the future and going from the present to later, it looks very positive for me individually and my family. So that's what the goal has always been, is to find and connect with that fulfillment, and I feel like I'm doing that. Hey Jen, how are you? Nice to see you again. Thanks for jumping on. And it is the 10 of Cups is all about emotional fulfillment and finding that real connection, not just with the physical, it's the emotional. So remember, the physical would come up as Pentacles. So if we're looking for, you know, things about money and stuff, it would come up as physical. All right, so the 10 of Cups has a rainbow behind it. And rainbow is a rainbow in the sky naturally appearing as one of my personal symbols of spiritual connection and validation. So when I get the 10 of Cups, I see goals that we're pursuing that are really arduous, that are really tricky, that feel very lonely at times, are actually quite achievable. So it's sitting there in sight. Fulfillment is there. I already have fulfillment in my life. I already feel very blessed. I don't have this feeling of depression or sadness, but there is just a little bit of anguish around where things are going to go. And it's not terrible, it's not consuming me, but it is going to go in a really positive direction. So that is a reassuring spread. We have a lot of Cups energy around that, emotions versus thoughts type thing, and that's been really, really interesting. Okay, so 1111, it's fine to just sit back and watch. I do understand that some people do like to just watch the live and just see what's flowing and not necessarily want a reading for themselves. But you can chime in at any time and let me know if you would like one. That's fine. But what I might do is I'll get Matt to give the cards a good shuffle. And if he would like some guidance, if he would like a bit of insight, because I don't read for him very often. We often neglect ourselves when we've got these skills, and we don't do the readings for ourselves as often. So hopefully something will come out a little bit different to mine, because often our readings will mirror each other because we're on the same time frame. He's cutting the cards as we speak. Sitting next to me cutting the cards, doing all the production work. Okay, let's see what comes of this. All right. So that's the Wheel and Judgment. All right, so our content or our page or the name of our business is Wheel and the World, and Wheel of Fortune is very much connected to that, which is very interesting. Okay, how are you, Satapa? Nice to see you. Okay, and I'll just answer your question, and yes, 1111, I will do a reading for you. I'll just quickly finish Matt's reading here. So the Wheel of Fortune is all about number 10 in the Major Arcana, and it's about fated events. So I feel that this connects Matt back to his past, where he was fated to have a big change of life years and years ago, where his career kind of took a tumble due to his physical health. So he actually ended up with a really severe back injury, which led to autoimmune type stuff. Long story, we won't go into that. And that meant that he had to change his whole direction when it came to focus on career and things like that. And that was a very difficult emotional journey at the time. But it was also an opportunity. And so what the universe is saying is that was fate. The timing was just right, because I think through Matt's life, just through the time that I've known him in the last 22 years, he sometimes gets a little bit ahead of himself and knows the intuitive message and launches straight into that message. And sometimes that can feel a little bit too soon. And then the event will happen, things will occur, and he's like, I knew it and I was there earlier, but it just wasn't the right timing. So what it's saying to me with the Wheel of Fortune and Judgment here is that the timing is actually lining up for him better than ever. So right now it feels like it's very stressful. It feels like it's not moving, it's not going, it's not jumping, but it will. So I would read that to anybody as stick the course, you've got this, you're on the right time. And for once, it's all about to move in the direction that you hope it will. All right, so I'm gonna, no, that wasn't yours, Siddhartha, sorry. That was the one that I was doing for Matt, sorry. All right, so 1111 was next, and then you'll be next after that, Siddhartha. So just hang on, you are in my queue. All right, 1111, let's go. I love your name. I think popping that always in a name is a very significant message to the universe that you're calling in that divine spirit and that energy, aren't you? So I always love those repeating numbers, and I always think that they do connect us back. And 11 is a very significant, powerful number that connects to the divine, the angel number. Very powerful message of light, energy, and truth. Okay. Is there a future relationship between Ahmed, a Capricorn, and Nada, a Cancer? Okay. So we have water and earth energy between the two of them, but Capricorn and Cancer usually do have mutually strong connections because there's that grounding earth energy and there's that emotional Cancerian energy. So it can be a very intense connection, but it can be very grounding as well. So let's have a look and see what the cards have to say about Ahmed and Nada. Okay, tuning into that energy for you, and I'm going to cut them into 3. Okay, we spread the energy through the cards. It's always important to do so. All right, so I feel like things have felt stuck between them for a long time. And I say that because I feel like there's a energy of almost this trap, or almost like this feeling like they can't move forward. So something is blocking their connection. They've been trying to strategize ways that they can make it happen. And so this is literally either physical boundaries or something that's stopping them location-wise. There's something just getting in the way of them being able to connect. And it's been very, very tricky for them. I would say that a lot of it too could be resources literally getting in the way of them being able to have this relationship or have this connection together. But I do feel that it's very, very strong between them. I feel like they've got a lot of emotional energy connected to each other, and that they're going to be able to transcend these physical barriers and make it happen. They've got to let go of the things that are holding them back. So they're going to have to make some big choices, big decisions around what's important. So if that means leaving behind family, a job, putting behind values maybe, or something that's stopping them from being able to make this work, they're going to have to choose to do that if they want to be together. But it will work in terms of, even though this card looks very intense, it is reassuring us that they do have each other despite being pushed out of something or not allowed to acquire something. Their relationship will transcend all of that. So they need to kind of put each other first, ignore anyone who's trying to block them from moving forward together, and really take this relationship to the next level despite all of their barriers, and just move through and be together. They will figure it out if they make that decision. The universe will look after them. But it is going to be difficult. I'm not going to pretend that it's not going to be difficult for Nada and Ahmed, because I feel like they've got so many physical things stopping them from being able to connect together. They can make it happen though. The universe says if they do this, it will choose them, and love transcends all boundaries. So if we try not to let that get in the way and they really pursue all their energy into each other, they're going to be able to make it work. But one thing too that I will say is that if they start from even ground together, if they start from, you know, the bases together, and they both come in with letting go of something before, they're going to be starting on an even foot, and that's even better for them to build something together. So I hope that helps. All right. So we're going to go into yours, Sitapa, and see what yours says. Okay, August 23rd and 12th of October. So we have almost like lots of Virgo and energy with Libran energy here for the two people in this connection. I want to know if you blocked him from everywhere. Okay, will he regret and reach out? All right, so it's hard if there's been a blockage too. He'll have to transcend those physical barriers. If Virgoan energy gets pushed away, if it's serious, they will do anything to make it work. If it's not, they will fall back and that you'll never hear from them again. So it can be black and white that way. And I'm saying that because myself and my husband are both Virgo suns, so we know it intrinsically. And I had blocked my husband when we first met online 20 years ago, and he reached out. So it was real. It wasn't something that wasn't worth reaching out for. So we'll have a look and we'll see for you, Sitapa, and see if there is something that comes through around this connection. It can be very interesting what your intuition might be saying about this as well. And Librans can often get confused by anxiety and intuition, and it's a really hard thing to discern. And so I wonder if you, being the Libran, struggles with that connection. Is it my anxiety or is it my intuition? Which one's real, which one's not? And then that can spiral things out of control a little bit for you. But you do have a very strong intuitive voice. All right, I'm going to cut them into 3. And we'll see what the cards say for you. Okay, lots of energy in the cards today. They're feeling nice and full. All right. Okay. There's a bit of a player energy around him. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat. That's not how I read. I would say that because he feels like you made the move to block the energy, that gives him free range to play the field. So I feel like there is that energy now of decisions where there is going to be that looseness or that energy around deciding that things can be done on his terms. And so I think that that's interesting. There is a strong connection though between you, but it's almost like a codependency. So when I get the Lovers and the Devil together, they're major arcana cards, and they're all about how it can ebb between, you know, super, super lovey-dovey to super, super intense and dark and mysterious and heavy. And so one thing I'm going to say here is there is that ability to, yeah, okay, he blocked you first. I don't think he's going to reach out first. He's playing a game. So you've got to jump in and you've got to play the game ahead of him. So in my mind, I would read this as that while the intensity, while the strength is there, it's not worth pursuing for you because it's just going to keep being games ahead, games after games after games, and it's messing with your head. So I don't think he'll reach out. That is the truth of the message. That is a no. But I do think that if you really want to make this work, we do have that Lovers connection there. You're going to have to really just hit it hard, hit it where it hurts, and just say to him, this is make or break, this is what I think, lay it out on the line. And if he wants to pursue things with you, he will. If he doesn't, he won't, but he's not going to reach out first, I'm sorry to say. He likes having you entangled in his web. He likes keeping you second guessing. And it's kind of that energy of he feels like he's powerful. But the devil is not as powerful as he seems to be. So just remember that. I'm not saying he's the devil, but the energy of that playfulness, it's not as powerful as it seems to be. And so you get these feelings or this almost like this toxicness that comes up between you and him. And I feel like it's because he is very manipulative, very good at what he does. But you're no silly person. You're very smart. You're very connected. And I think that he's underestimated you. So yeah, I would, if I had this reading, I would actually run for the hills personally. So that's literally what I've got from that. I'm sorry to say. These are very strong cards, but mind you. But again, the devil doesn't muck around. The devil's energy is quite heavy, okay? But the lover's energy was a connection that you both did have, and he did feel it too. So you weren't imagining that, he did feel it too. But he's also in a stage of life where I don't think that he's... I would say I don't think that he's ready to commit. He likes the game too much. He's enjoying playing the field too much, and you'll end up getting hurt. So I'm sorry to say that. You're welcome, 1111. It was lovely to read for you. So I'm just going to keep shuffling for a minute because we've been on for about 20 minutes. And I'm just going to see if there is anybody else that wants to have a reading. It's a little bit quieter today, which is completely fine. I always listen to the energy of the universe, and I think it directs me as a reader the way it needs to go as well. Oh, I'm so sorry that you hate him. I understand. Hi, Happy Soul. How are you? Nice to see you. So yes, I understand that you would be feeling that energy, Satapa. I totally get that. But I think that you also need to direct your energy back to yourself and really put yourself first, because he doesn't deserve even any power of you. He doesn't deserve it. And I completely understand that. With that devil energy, I feel like he's done a lot to manipulate you. Okay, so Happy Soul, would you like a reading today? If you'd like a reading, please just let me know. You're so welcome. Absolutely welcome. I love to get the cards out and have a little look. Yeah, so the cards feel today, they've got lots of energy in them, which is always funny because sometimes they feel really light, sometimes they feel heavier, and there's a reason for that, and that is what they're going to bring to the table. And that usually means lots of major cards, lots of heavy energy and things like that. So it can be very, very positive. It can be very intense too. Okay, and yes, I will say those Virgo males as well, when they're not ready to commit, they are not your person yet. They might be at some stage, but yeah, they like to play games when they're not in their evolved state. Okay. And I don't mean that rudely, because you know, they're not necessarily bad people. It's just, yeah, emotions can be tricky. They run for the hills a lot if it feels too intense. Okay, shuffle, shuffle. So when I started reading a long time ago, my mum and I, my mum has since passed, she's been gone for a long time now, but we used to do readings for each other. So we would sit and kind of consult the cards with a cuppa and go over things. And it was always a really, really great way to connect to the universe. And that's kind of what we're offering for our membership on YouTube. So that's something else that we've started to launch now very, very recently, is a YouTube membership. And so what that allows is for people to connect with us behind the scenes, so me and Matt, and we are going to be doing a lot more in the spiritual space there. So that is also something to check out if you're on my YouTube, or if you want to find the YouTube, it's Will and the World on YouTube. So that is something that we're excited to launch. I want to be doing workshops and really getting into the nitty-gritty of this spiritual space with people. Absolutely, Happy Soul. I would love to do a reading for you. So I'm just going to connect my energy back to your energy now, if that's okay. And we're just going to really bring that in. And I can feel almost like a busyness around you. So I don't know if there's been a lot previously that's been busy, or if it's felt quite busy for you at the moment, but I feel like a frantic energy around you. It's not necessarily bad, it's just busy. All right. And now I'm going to cut the cards into 3 for you, Happy Soul, and see what comes through. Okay. All right. Okay, so the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Cups has already made an appearance today, but it's making another one, and I think it's doing it in the realm for you, Happy Soul, around where things are going for you. So I think you've had to, in the past, walk away from things that weren't serving you or weren't working for you, and that's been quite a full-on emotional journey, and I think it's taken you a lot of energy to kind of find your balance and find kind of where things are going for you in terms of your fulfillment and your life direction. But I will say that despite all the obstacles and all the stuff that you've left behind, I feel like with the Three of Pentacles, you've walked into so much more knowledge and so much more awareness, and that's where you're currently sitting. So where you're currently going, I feel like it's going to lead you into something very positive in terms of your energy, in terms of your fulfillment and where things are going to go. So I have the Ten of Cups next to the Three of Pentacles, which is reassuring me for you that there is that emotional fulfillment coming. And I really mean that. It's a really strong, powerful card that comes up when there is lots of emotional energy. And so that is really, really, really positive. And I think that you are walking into a place where things are going to feel peaceful. And so that peace, that inner peace we're all looking for, I feel like you're actually working so hard towards that. And that's going to be a very positive outcome for you. The Three of Pentacles is all about kind of being the apprentice and learning more about things and trying to really get your knowledge up around a whole situation. But I feel like you've delved into this through leaving a lot of pain behind, through the emotional turmoil that you've been through in the past. And it hasn't been an easy road for you. I feel like you make it feel like it flows so well for you, but you've been quite busy trying to get all your ducks in a row. But I think that you're doing that, and I feel like you're finding kind of your flow and you're connecting with like-minded people, but you're still learning the ropes here and you're still trying to figure things out, and that's okay. It is divine timing. It is working the way it should. You're headed in the right direction. So I want to reassure you on that point as well, that you are headed in the right direction. So that's the Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups together. There is no other kind of meaning for those two. It is saying that pursuing your goals, you will achieve them. And it's not necessarily all about money either. So that fear of lack comes into it sometimes, especially in the modern world when we have to pay to exist and we're trying to transition from one thing to another. It can feel very tricky that way. But I feel like you're actually finding the balance. And so it will make sense as you move more into this, as you learn more, as you go into a step forward into this more. So it is going to work for you. So just keep your chin up and keep those positive vibes going, because I do feel like it's going to work out beautifully for you in the future. And I love seeing the Ten of Cups in the future. It's just such a beautiful message of that fulfillment that you already feel. I feel that that's there. I feel abundance and gratitude with you, but I do also feel that entanglement of that, you know, matrix stuff where it can be a little bit tricky to keep one foot out of that and, you know, keep surviving in this modern world. But positivity on its way for you. Keep learning, keep absorbing that information, connecting with those people and trusting that energy. I hope that helps, happy soul. That's been really beautiful to read for you and see what you've overcome, because you definitely have overcome a lot. When I did my reading this morning, I had the Eight of Cups and I had the Ten of Cups on the other side, although I had the Nine of Swords in the middle, which was telling me that there is some stress to come or happening at the moment, but it's not. I always see the Nine of Swords as like just an anxiety muffler. It's more than actually what's going on. Hi, Christina. Nice to see you here. Okay, what's coming towards you in terms of love? Let's have a look at the cards and see what they've got for you. I'm just going to try and connect with you, if that's okay. I haven't missed anyone. No, good. All right. Just keeping those comments, and I don't want to kind of absorb all my energy over there, but I just need to check that I'm not missing anybody. Okay, Christina, let's connect the energy back to you. All right. Cards are shuffling and moving beautifully. There's no stuck energy, which is great. All right, they're nice and warm in my hands now. I'm going to cut them into 3 and we'll connect back to you. So this learning the connection here and how the tarot works is such a big part of what I do. And I'm so excited to share more of that with people online. So it's pretty exciting where things are going. Wow. Okay, Christina, we have quite a lot going on for you. So these major cards have come out for you today, and we have the Magician and the High Priestess. So I think that you've got a lot of decisions to make about where things go next. And I think you're tossing up a lot of ideas at the moment and trying to throw them out to see what comes of that. A lot of it's unknown as we speak. So a lot of it isn't showing up for you the way that you'd imagine it to show up. The High Priestess often comes out when it's not revealing itself for a reason, or we're not getting information for a reason. And so when it comes to love for you, I feel like your timing, or the way things have moved in terms of timing, haven't been right in the past. So I feel like you haven't always connected all of those things. And so that's always a tricky thing. But you are your energy around love is always about the mystery and the connection to that deeper stuff, that soul-led stuff. And in the past, I feel like it hasn't quite connected properly to you that way. But there is somebody who I feel deep in your past you're struggling to let go of. I'm just going to say that. And it's really hard to kind of find a connection like that again in the future without all the toxic energy that came with that relationship. So that's part of the barrier too, is that it's hard to leave behind something that we felt a very intrinsic connection with. And I think that that's something that perhaps you're trying to work on, or you're trying to move on from, but you're really struggling to let go of a connection that was really intense in the past. I know that we can think in our heads on a superficial level that we have let go and we've done a lot of the work, and you probably have, but there is still some stuff there that's just lingering from that connection, that's kind of blocking new energies from being able to come in properly into your life. But it's okay not to settle for less. When it comes to love, we should never, ever settle for less. So you putting out to the universe what you're looking for and what you're hoping for, it's okay to retract an energy from the past and say, I want that kind of connection again, but I want to reframe it. I want it to be different. I don't want it to be the same, but I really want to grab onto the energy I have with that person. It's okay to ask for that. So I think it's almost trying to say with a High Priestess, and I don't mean this in any rude way, but try not to delude yourself into thinking that that wasn't something that really captivated you and kept you, wanting that connection. So make a decision around what it is that you really would like in a relationship and put it out to the universe. And I feel like that's going to allow things to flow a lot better for you. And in fact, I feel like then you'll be tossing up two different kind of sides that you can go, or two different options in terms of a relationship, and that might even confuse you a little more. But if you do have those two options to choose from, follow your heart, follow the direction that you really feel connected to the most. You'll know what it is. On a superficial level, you might feel that something is safer or better, but it's never the right one, okay? It's never the proper way to go about things. So the deeper set, more intense connection that feels like it's your soul gravitating towards somebody, that's where you need to go. But it looks like it's coming for you. You just have to make it clear to the universe what you want in terms of that connection, and it will reveal it to you in due course. But you know that there is something from your past that you're struggling to let go of. I hope that's helped, Christina. Oh, happy soul, sure. We can do one around love if you would like. Absolutely. Because I do think the cards sometimes direct us where we want to go. You have overcome a lot of obstacles, and I think that sometimes it's about your fulfillment coming. But it did look very positive in terms of family and connection that way for you in the future. So hopefully we can grab onto that energy of what you've overcome and what you're learning and where you're going, and see if we can connect you back to some love energy. So just going to focus that in. I almost use a beam of light and I focus that on love energy, and that's kind of my vision. Not that that clarifies much for people, but it is very true to me when I'm reading for people. If I really want to hone the universe's energy into a topic, that's kind of how I do it for you. Okay, and I'm asking to reveal some really clear answers for you today. Okay, let's cut them into 3 for you. We're going to pop the middle on the top, and we're going to do that bottom. All right, let's have a look. Okay. So again, there was a period, I think, where you've had to make peace in your life, happy soul, and you've had to kind of take the high road and let go of something in the past. And so now I feel like things are moving in a much better direction for you, and you found kind of this balance for yourself, that you don't want to have somebody come in and basically muck up. You don't want that energy to be kind of destroyed or confused in some way. So the Two of Swords is the energy of coming up to a stalemate where you feel like no action is better than taking action. So it's a period of just retreat, of pulling yourself back and just going, look, I don't want to get myself involved, so I'm going to be the one that takes the high road and retreat my energy. But Temperance is about you balancing those energies, and I feel like it's always been about trying to achieve that balance, and you've done a really good job of that. So there's been so much patience that you've exuded in love situations that it's actually becoming a little bit frustrating because you have been so set in that lovely energy of flow and allowing things to come through and things like that, but they just haven't been forthcoming that way. But the Ace of Pentacles is telling me that in the near future for you, I do feel that there is an offer coming to you, and that offer is going to be cemented in not just resources but in earth energy. So it's going to feel very connected to the earth for you, and I feel like that means that perhaps this person is somebody like-minded when it comes to work, when it comes to things like that, and I think that that's always a very, very positive thing. So when it comes to accepting an offer like this, I feel like it's probably definitely worth it for you. Somebody who's really good at being able to create something with you, like a partnership that you're going to be able to develop and create something tangible with. So that means a home, you know, something that's very positive in terms of using the earth to create together. So I do see like abundance with this person, and I think that that's okay for that to flow and have that together. But I think that what you've got to be clear on is that you're okay with a little bit of disruption. And disruption doesn't have to be negative. It just means that you've been in flow for so long, which is great, but you're allowed to kind of disrupt that and flow the energies a different way. So it's almost like if you've got a vessel and, you know, you've got water flowing through it, that you tap a hole in and put another tube in the side so it can flow in a different direction. And that's what I'm feeling for you. And then I feel like your opportunity will come and it will be given to you like this, and you'll be like, oh, there it is. All I had to do was, you know, change my flow a little bit or change the direction of my thinking. And so you've sat back, you've let things happen, you've had that peace for a while. Now it's time to disrupt that a bit and let the flow change. And then I feel like it's going to come for you. I'm going to say this, that I feel like this person, there is a person near you or close to you that you may already know. And so there may already be this connection right in front of you that maybe you're not seeing or that you haven't looked at in a romantic way. And so I really feel that energy, and I'm just going to go with that for you. And I think that that's something worth thinking about. And I think it's really close to you in terms of where you physically are. So that looks really positive too, but it's literally there for you, waiting for you to change your perspective or look at things from a different angle and going, oh my gosh, there it is. My love flow is happening now. And so I think it's going to be a very positive shift in that direction for you. But looks like lots of opportunities with resources and, you know, connecting you back to creating something together. So it's actually the best kind of love there is, because it's not just having a you know, full-on romantic, passionate connection. It's more than that. It's building a life together. So that looks very exciting. So I think hopefully with that, you will find it very rewarding in terms of love. Okay, well, that's it. Yep. Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming on today. I am going to sign off, but it's been lovely to connect with you all. And if you join me, I try to come on every Sunday. The exception will be not next Sunday, but the Sunday after I'll be away, but I'll try to come on most Sundays, and I look forward to reading for you all again. Like and subscribe for updates and for information, and don't forget to check out our members on YouTube as well. All right, lovely to connect today. Thank you.